What's up, Bassketeers? Josh Fossgreen here, and I'm really pumped to share this lesson with you. We're gonna do some improv together. We're gonna pick a scale and practice some different ideas for how to actually improvise and not hear that word and like freeze up and freak out and think about how hard it's gonna be and not do it. We're gonna take some little digestible tidbits so you can actually start improvising if it's not something that you're already doing. So this is gonna be very beginner friendly. And I'm really excited to share this with you because I've talked about the importance of doing this a lot, but I haven't actually done it with you. So that's what we're gonna do today, and I'm gonna do another lesson on this, I think probably the week after this one comes out, to show you a different style of doing this. So we're gonna get right into it. There's no PDF today because I'm not gonna give you any scripted bass line to play necessarily. And the last note is you'll notice I have kinesio tape on my finger. I got too excited playing along with a Victor Wooten instructional video on Sunday and my fingers messed up. So I will be alternate plucking with my middle and ring finger like a weirdo, but don't think that this is some super secret cool bass technique thing, because it's just that I'm trying to help my finger recover and not accidentally use it. Okay, so what we're gonna do, let me just play for you. So I've made this little loop. It's a drum part and a bass part playing a bass line down in the lower register. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the scale that goes with this line that you're gonna hear and explore playing that in a more melodic register. So let me start the loop for you. So we're in the key of A minor today. And if you're not already comfortable with an A minor or natural minor scale, you can check out the video I've done on that in the past, because I've covered major and minor and all the other major modes in previous videos. So that's the loop we're working with today. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start really simple, and then I'm gonna give you some more stuff to explore if you're a little more advanced with your scale abilities. But what we're gonna start with, and we'll do this together, is go up to your 12th fret on your A string with your index finger, and we're just gonna play an A minor scale starting on our first finger. So on the A string we play A, B, C, 12th fret, 15th fret. Sorry, 12th, 14th, 15th fret. Then same frets on the D string, 12, 14, 15. And then on the G string, 12 and 14. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A minor scale. So make sure you're comfortable with that, because that's gonna be our vocabulary list, and then we're gonna try to like make sentences and phrases out of it, if we can use a language analogy, which I never get tired of using that analogy. So that's the notes we're gonna use. The next thing that I think trips people up is thinking about the rhythm, because if you don't give yourself some kind of rhythmic starting point, it might feel intimidating, like, okay, these are the notes I can use, but where do I put them? How often do I play them? So I'm just gonna give you some ideas just so you can get started, and hopefully my goal for this video is that you'll get over the feeling of, that's scary, I can't do that, because we'll actually do it together, and then you'll be able to explore this more on your own. So let me start our loop again. So this bass line is just hanging out on an A, basically. There's no chord changes or anything happening. So I won't show you that bass line because we're not going to play it, but it just rest assured that it's a very simple bass line that keeps A sounding like the root note the whole time, as opposed to something that outlines the chord progression. So let's just play the scale together in whole notes to keep it really simple. And we'll already be doing the thing we're gonna get into more as we go along. So here we go, whole notes up the scale and back down at the end of the loop. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's repeat the octave and come back down. Octave, G, F, E, D. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, I'll do a little bit and then I'll give you space to do it on your own a little bit. Let's keep the whole note thing going on. So every 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We change notes on 1 every time and hold each note for the whole bar. So what we're doing now and what we're going to keep doing is starting with a simple rhythmic pattern that repeats, so you don't have to think of a rhythm. All you do is take a repeating rhythm, plug notes from the scale into it, and boom, there's your improv. So let me do a little bit of this. Again, I'm going to keep doing whole notes and just trying different notes of the scale, all within this little 1 octave box. I'm not throwing any curveballs at you. So here I go, just listen for a sec. Okay, so all I'm doing is picking notes from the scale and playing whole notes. So I went root, 5th, 7th, 6th, 4th, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, or something like that. It could be totally random. I could be even more random than that. Start on the 4, 6, 7, 5. As long as you kind of sell it, I'm doing a little unavoidable vibrato here that I can't stop myself from doing apparently. As long as you sell it, it's not going to sound bad. You know, the bass line's in A minor, you're playing notes from the A minor scale. It's all good. So try that. I'm just going to sit here for a little bit and try that. So stick with whole notes. I'll count you in. Any notes to the scale. We'll just do a few bars. Here we go. 1, 2. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just whole notes. Any note from the scale is good. All right, and we'll finish up there. So hopefully that's making sense so far. Seriously, it's this simple. All you do is you've got the scale, and then you got whole notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You just pick one of those scale notes to play every time a whole note comes around, and that's it. So that's where I would start with that. So you're already doing scale-based improvisation, which is awesome because this bass line is reinforcing the A tonality down beneath what we're playing. So every time you play a note of the scale, you're hearing what it sounds like in relation to the root note down below it, which is more like actual musical situations than if you were to just put on some drums and play the scale. Now we're actually experiencing the layered harmony of a root note and then our melodic choice on top of it. And so let's try that some more. Now we'll go to half notes, so we'll go every 2 beats. So we're having to think a little bit more and come up with notes more often. Again, I'll just demo a little bit. Here we go. Oh, I like that. I might play that again. Let's try something else. Fancy at the end. Hard not to get fancy. It's so much fun for me doing this kind of stuff. If you set up a groove that you actually like to play over, all of a sudden you find out, oops, I practiced for twice as long as I meant to because you're actually playing music. So again, I'm just picking notes from the scale and now I'm using half notes as a rhythmic template instead of whole notes. So why don't I let you try that a little bit. Get the loop going. Again, just A minor, half notes. Any order is fine. Here you go. 3, 4, half note, half. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Any notes are fine. All right, and I'll cut you off there. Hopefully you get the idea enough that you realize you could keep going with that idea. You could switch to quarter notes. I'll do a little bit of that. Or I could mix it up with some combination of quarters, halves, and wholes, like So that's, you know, you can start actually, constructing some nice melodic phrases like that just by mixing up whole notes, half notes, and quarter notes, which are all pretty easy rhythms to track. And we're just going around 120 BPM here. Other rhythmic possibilities, of course, you can get into some eighth notes or some 16th notes, depending on what rhythms you feel comfortable with experimenting with. I would encourage you to start simple if you're new to this and find a comfort zone where like, oh yeah, I'm actually playing some stuff that sounds pretty good to me, this is fun, and then try introducing some new elements. Don't jump in like, all right, I'm gonna play some crazy 16th notes and blow everyone's minds right out of the gate, because you're just setting yourself up for failure like that, because you're not gonna be incredibly amazing if it's your first time doing this. But you can get to a point where you're having fun with it and then just gradually, oh, what if I try tweaking this variable or this little variable? So that's some rhythmic stuff, and I'll just play a little bit more just to keep demonstrating. I'll stay in this, again, in this 1 octave scale box. I'll just mix up the rhythm a little bit more so you can see if you kind of free up the rhythmic constraints, some of the stuff you could do still staying in this left hand area. Yeah, it's weird not having that finger, man. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do just in that 1 octave box. So we've talked about, you know, you can start mixing up the rhythm more once you're comfortable with some basic templates. What about the left hand? So far we've done the scale right here. Well, if you watch my other minor scale video, you know you can also play the minor scale like this, starting on your second finger, going A, B, then change strings for C, D, E, then change strings for F, G, A. So you could do that too. So you're still staying within a 1 octave box, which is pretty comfortable for most beginners. But you get some different note combinations as a result of the different fingering patterns. So let me show you a little bit of that. So I like this shape because you get that cross string half step between the second and the third, and between the fifth and the sixth. So you can play with that. That's kind of fun. And actually, if you watched my the last solo bass improv video I did, I was using that shape in G major between the 7th and the root. But that's bonus information. So you can try a different scale shape. And so that's what I would consider kind of your beginner options. Use a 1 octave scale box, whether it's the first finger start or the second finger start. And again, I have a video detailing those. And then start with a rhythmic template like whole notes or straight half notes or straight quarters or a mix of those three, and then you can start getting more complicated once you're comfortable. You just want to start with simple rhythms, make sure you're actually locking in with the groove and not just playing totally free-form, arrhythmic, melodic stuff accidentally. You can do that too, but you want to make sure that when you're intending to be in rhythm, that you're in rhythm, because that's really important bass player skill and musician skill in general. Okay, so that's kind of the beginner stuff. I want to talk a little bit more about if you've got a little bit more facility on the neck, some of the stuff you can do there. I've already talked about some rhythmic options, you know, just start mixing it up with some eighth notes, add some syncopation, go 16ths. I don't know how many 16th notes I can get in with my weird right hand situation, but note-wise, what you can do is just start moving outside of the 1 octave box, and this is something that I get into in my Beastly Scales and Arpeggios book, and also in the book that I'll have coming out in the next month or so. I'm going to be talking a lot about 1-string scales and 2 octave scale patterns. So if that's kind of the territory that you're comfortable with exploring with, that you're comfortable exploring with your playing at the level you're at, you can do that too. And this is a nice musical way that you can practice your shifting and making sure every time you shift that you know where your root notes are for the scale, and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the lesson there. I really hope that this has been instructive. So this was a very melodic / solo kind of style of improv. Like if you had a band playing behind you and you are the lead melodic instrument or the solo instrument, this is the kind of thing you would want to do. In the next improv lesson, we're going to turn the tables and have drums with a higher, more melodic backing track, and we're going to explore more bass-liney kind of improv, which is, for a lot of bass players, a little more useful because there's a lot of people who aren't really interested in all the soloing and whatnot on their instrument. At least not yet. I haven't converted them yet. But doing the melodic stuff, even if you don't want to be taking a bunch of bass solos on stage, which I actually don't really like doing bass solos all the time, believe it or not, because I do it a lot here on YouTube, doing the melodic stuff I think really preps you to do bass lines better, because you can worry about the rhythm a little bit less and focus more on the harmony and feeling which notes of the scale sound which way, and kind of feeling out like which sounds are going to suit what you're going for. Whereas with bass lines, there's a lot more rhythmic constraints and repetitiveness and stuff. So I think the two things really complement each other for your development, whether you want to be the next great bass soloist or not. So thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm going to get into this and a lot more beginning, intermediate, scale stuff you can use in this practice in the book I have coming out in a month or so, so please stay tuned for that. And you'll be able to find that at joshfossgreen.com/books. And if you'd like to support me in continuing to make these videos, you can go to my Patreon page and I'll explain to you there how that works and all the cool rewards you can get for supporting me there, like access to my weekly music recommendations and early downloads of song lesson PDFs. You can get me to transcribe things for you. We've got monthly hangout options. So there's a lot of cool stuff I have there to incentivize you to click on this link to my Patreon page and check it out. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Have happy holidays, and I'll see you soon.